Gosh, for me, really exciting times. Knowing the Earth's the centre of the universe for 6 years, 5 years, knowing it from a force perspective, how do you then translate that force-based model to the solar system that it makes sense? And I've never been able to do it. In my mind I've done it, but I've never been able to draw it properly from first principles with applying logic to every step. Now I can. It's simple. There's two types of grains: turbulent grains and laminar grains. Let's call it a solid grain and a turbulent grain. So the solid grain is normally piled. It's a 6-group piling of force. So the model is simply that the grains exist in the ether, the cosmic foam, and they group, and the larger the scale, the tighter the grouping. So when you have enormous scale, cosmic scale, certainly solar system scale, you're drawing exactly the same forces at cosmic scale, taking the Earth as a centroid of bending, and it has a magnetic field. And so that's the second type of rigid body. It's elastic, has an elastic interior. So the solid modulus 0, I squared, Reynolds number, is 6-group normally piled, and that when you compress north and south together, that's the density. A surface is always developed. This is the model. When you compress top to bottom, north to south, you must have dilation of the 4-group that lies below it, and that means they must open. Two of them there must be an opening, must appear, and that creates a tearing in the main membrane, which gathers around this 6-group piling. So the membrane will always develop around a fixed force field setup, and there's a hole in the membrane, and that hole in the membrane is right on the equator. So it's the Earth and the Sun. Yeah? So that the centre now of the dilation of the 6-group piling at cosmic solar scale compresses, opens a hole, and you see the Sun appear on the surface a distance from the centre. At the centroid of bending, Earth has a magnetic field. In a magnetic field, because it's magnetoelectric instead of electromagnetic, like the 6-body group. And so it has an elastic modulus and has a Reynolds number 2.16, viscous handover from solid to inviscid relative to the solid. And there's a flower of life. Inside a grain on the centroid side, on the bending side, lies the flower of life set up, 6 grains, soft-bodied, with one developing in the centre, just from the squeezing. So there's a squeezing force. The 6-body piling is an expanding force. The flower of life grain is a squeezing force. And there's a balance between the two. And so that squeezing the Earth and her magnetic field and her force piling is now the elastic modulus that creates the bending for the ring tension. So that when you open the hole up, what happens is that there is a tension builds up in the surface, and that tension builds up as ring tension at a certain height. And I believe this is the effective neutrino stuff. That it's currently 3.046, and I believe it should be exactly 3. It's the relationship of the r squared, the equator radius, at the start of the dot point of expansion of spherical surface tension. R squared, the equator, would be pi, but that the ring tension set above it will be 3. And so the ring tension must have its centre of bending outside of its mass, and that's the Earth. And the Earth has the ring tension snap action, because that ring tension is constantly pulsing at H-Planck's constant, caused by the buzz, the electrostatic buzz of the elastica of planet Earth. And so now you've got the Earth-Sun set up inside the sphere, with the Earth lying at the centre of the solar burst, and that the Sun appears on the equator relative to the centre, and you see it as a dot point opening, and all the heat comes down there. There's an opening in for the heat from the outside. The Sun comes through that hole, heat. And it's our interaction with the heat of the Sun that makes all the difference to the quality of the light that we emit. So if we are visible to the Sun in that dimension, when our light is emitted, it's bright, If we're when the planet is turned, we're in the night, it's not bright. It's the interaction with the heat from the sun. Solar model. So now you've just got the different, at the center of the universe, you've got the Earth, and the local center, you've got the sun. And all the ring tensions of the spheres of force that develop around this imbalanced model at the center, until you get to Saturn. It's spherical, but it's got its hole at the top. It's torn at the top into a hexagon. That's at the top of the vortex of Saturn, where all the vortex energy that I've drawn it. You can see the vortex appears all at the top of the sphere. Where the capstone is. Capstone is missing from Saturn because it's expanded. It's too big. It's almost like a peg driving the universe rotation. It's Saturn. It's been nailed in. Yeah, because we don't understand the balance system down here, how delicate it is. So here on Earth, at the center of bending in the flower of life elastic grain, there's a moment of choice, because the time has dilated. What is actually expanded when that hole tears in the sun is time. A duration has been created of a moment. There's an instant of tear, and then there's a moment of repercussion, shockwave through the ether from the edge of the universe, the cosmic microwave background sphere around us, down to here at the center, that little imbalanced system between the sun and the moon. And just see, when you look at the sun, see, oh, there's the dot point. That sphere is around us, protecting us, loving us, keeping us warm here at the center. Yeah. So it's just the two types of Reynolds grains, 1903. So look at Reynolds 1902, Reynolds 1903, Lohmay 1906, Portland Cement Association 1993. All this theory is already lodged into engineering through that document. Prove me wrong. Yeah? Open that fucking door and I'll show you the Earth at the center of the universe and your place in life, the meaning of life and everything. And it is 4 to 2 to 1. Brilliant. Anyway, I hope that's enough information. Yeah, I can certainly prove it to myself that the Earth's the center of the universe, and there is an eyeball is constructed, an eye is constructed, an eye to watch us, God's eye. So the mechanism of observation has been revealed to us. We've just got to learn to see who the observer is. Are you ready for the future to begin? Fade out.